In this video, I'll be explaining how to calculate major scales. Now, there are various ways to calculate scales, and the method which I found most successful with my students is by using the circle of fifths. Therefore, it is essential that you understand how to create and how to use the circle of fifths before watching this video. If you need to, click here to watch creating the circle of fifths, or click here to watch using the circle of fifths to calculate major key signatures. Okay, let's have a look at a typical question. Draw a scale of G major ascending using the correct key signature. The first thing we need to do to answer the question is to calculate how many sharps or flats there are in the key signature. We need to consult the circle of fifths to do this. So find the G, here it is. Always start to count the notches from C. G is one notch away on the sharp side of the circle. We can therefore safely say that G major has one sharp in its key signature. In the bottom left hand corner is the order of the sharps. As G major has just one sharp in its key signature, we take just the first letter from this order. So a key signature with one sharp in it would be F sharp. Let's pop that F sharp onto our stave. We now have the key signature for G major. The next step is to write in our notes. As the scale is called G major, it starts on a G. If it was A major, it would start on an A, C major, it would start on a C, and so on. We now write in a note on every line and space up to the next G. Two very important things to remember here. Firstly, we've been asked to write an ascending scale, so make sure it's going up. Secondly, make sure that there is only one note per line and space. This is really important. There's nothing else to do. It's as simple as that. We've answered the question. We have our scale of G major ascending with a key signature. Let's try another slightly different question. Draw a scale of F major ascending. Do not use a key signature, but add any necessary sharps or flats. Now, this is the type of question where you don't add a key signature. Now, that catches out many students. To work out the answer, we still need to follow the steps below. So, number one, calculate the key signature. Let's look at our circle of fifths. Here's the F. We start at C. F is one notch away from C on the flat side of the circle. Therefore, F major would have one flat in its key signature. Here's the order of the flats. As F major has one flat in its key signature, we take the first letter from the order, B. The B becomes B flat, and thus if we were using a key signature of F major, it would contain a B flat. Now, normally, we'd pop this information straight away onto our stave, but we've been asked not to use a key signature, so we don't do this. But I do want you to make a note of this, either on a scrap piece of paper or as a key signature onto a manuscript, somewhere where you won't forget. I'll put it over here for the moment. Step 1 is now complete. Step 2, write in the notes. Write in the notes from F, remember we're dealing with F major, to the next F. And don't forget to check that you put a note on every line and space. Now, although we've completed step 2, you've got an almost complete scale. We're not quite there as we haven't accounted for this. Therefore, we need to add in a step 3 to our task list when you're asked not to deal with a key signature. So, here's a step 3. Add in any accidentals. Now, by accidentals, I mean sharps, flats, or naturals. Now, don't worry about naturals. They don't really appear until you're dealing with minor scales. So, earlier we made a note of what the key signature would look like if we're using one. We use this as a guide. We can see that in F major, the B is actually a B flat. We therefore have to change all of the B's in the scale that we've written so far to B flats. Here is the only B. We pop a flat symbol in front of it to change it to a B flat. Job done. With the B changed to a B flat, we've answered the question. F major, ascending without key signature. Let's try a slightly trickier question. Draw a scale of E flat major ascending. Do not use a key signature, but add any necessary sharps or flats. So, once again, we have a question where no key signature is required. Nonetheless, we follow our usual steps. Step 1, calculate the key signature. Here's the circle of fifths. Here's the E flat. We start at the C and count the notches to E flat. So 1, 2, 3. E flat is 3 notches away from C on the flat side of the clock. So E flat major has 3 flats in its key signature. We check the order of flats and take the first 3 letters. 3, as E flat has 3 flats in its key signature. Make a note of the key signature. I'll pop it here as a reminder. Step 1, complete. Step 2, write in the notes. As the scale is E flat major, we know it has to start on an E flat, so we can pop in an accidental in straight away, a flat next to the very first E. Then just add in the notes, making sure that there is a note on every line and in every space. Step 2 complete. Step 3, we need to add in the accidentals. We use our reminder over here, and let's deal with each flat one by one. So let's look at the B flat first. We need to change all of the B's in the scale that we've written so far to B flats. Here's a B, we add a flat next to it. There's no more B's to change, so we can move on to the next accidental. We now need to turn all of the E's into E flats. We've already made the first E an E flat, but don't forget to check for any more. Are there any? Yes, there is an E here right at the end. Change this to an E flat. Finally, we need to change the A's to A flats. Here's an A, add in the flat. We've now put in all of the required accidentals. There's nothing else to do, and we have our completed answer. Just one final question to tackle. Draw a scale of B major descending. Do not use a key signature, but add any necessary sharps or flats. Now, notice that this scale is descending, slightly different to our previous examples. So it's going to start on a high note and go down to a lower note. Step 1, calculate the key signature. Here's the B. Starting at C, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notches away from the C on the sharps side of the clock. Therefore, we take the first 5 letters of our order of sharps. So that's F, C, G, D, and A. Make a note of this. Step 1 is complete. Step 2, write in the notes. Here's our starting note, B. Here's a note on every line and space. Remember going down, because this is a descending scale, to the next B. Step 2 complete. Step 3, we need to add in those accidentals. Use our little reminder. So F sharp is the first note to tackle. Find the Fs and change them to F sharps. Then the Cs, change them to C sharps. Gs to G sharps. Ds to D sharps. And finally, A's to A sharps. We've now put all of the accidentals in where required, and we have our answers to the question. Now, there was quite a lot to do for this question, but always take your time and always double check your answer if you need to. One thing I haven't discussed in this video is how to lay out the key signature. If you need some help on this, have a look at my video which introduces the alto and tenor clef. It has a really useful section on key signatures. I do hope that this video has been useful to you, and please do let me know if there's any other topics you'd like me to cover in a future video. Thanks for watching.